first not hot, and then we'll throw it back to you for yours,
Sure.
is a guy who everyone was very high on coming into the season. That's what I'm trying to do here. I'm not really trying to give you the
Yeah.
hottest guy in the league and the least hot guy in the league, because we obviously know the best players in the league are probably playing pretty well, and the worst guys in the league are probably not playing that well. Here's a guy who was supposed to be hot and is not, and it's unfortunate, and I'm kind of annoyed about it, and that is Nolan Jones. Obviously, I have him in our league. I think that's the only league I have him in. But so far, only 3 hits on the season. He's batting 107. His on base is 138, whopping 138. He does have 2 RBIs and 2 runs scored, but not the start. And that team looks like they are absolute trash. They need to get home because we know they smash at home. But not a great start for Nolan Jones and the Colorado Rockies.
You know what's crazy is I've been kind of following. So the Cubs are playing the Rockies right now. The Cubs were up 8-2, and now they're tied 8-8 in the bottom of the 8th.
Has Nolan Jones does anything?
Nolan Jones he's 1 for 4.
That's
So he
probably
had a
one of his
single
2
in the
hits.
8th inning. Yeah.
Is he still batting?
It's
What's
kind
his
of
average
scary.
currently?
186. Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah, that's what I said. So the numbers I
Yeah,
was looking at were updated.
I'm
Perfect.
a little scared by that now.
107.
We can't lose to the Rockies. That's scary. Anyways, my first cold, and you'll like this one because it shows. I don't know. You can tell me what it shows. My first cold is Elly De La Cruz.
I was going to put him on there. I didn't. Did you see
Yep, I
his
know it's chalk,
almost
but
lackadaisical play, like with the flipping the
the
glove? I was just
defense
like,
and
Jesus, Elly, what are we
you
doing?
know, I don't know what his thing is right now. I feel like it's all mental, but so far, I guess now he's got 24 at bats, but in 22, when I wrote this down originally, he had 12 strikeouts, 12 strikeouts and 22 at bats. That's just not going to get it done, right? He's got to fix that strikeout rate. And for a guy who is being drafted, so a lot of people drafted him top 25, like they thought this guy was going to be a, top 10 fantasy player. And he still very well could be, but not only does he strike out way too much, but he's got no home runs so far, which again, small sample, not much going on. And he's 2 for 3 on the bases. So 2 stolen bases is fine. And it's a long season, but this is not good. And the scary thing is, if it continues, is there a chance that they send him down? That's within the realm of possibility of him being sent down. So,
It
if
certainly is.
he cannot figure it out, I would not put that past the Reds, especially, we know the Reds want to compete. So we'll see. Maybe send him down for a couple weeks, get his head right, and then bring him back up. We don't know. But so far has not been good for Elly De La Cruz.
Yeah, keeping it in the NL Central for my second not hot, and that's Christian Encarnacion Strand. Again, another guy on this team. He struck out 9 times, and this is what we talked about. The Reds, of the outside of Spencer Steer, they've been awful. He's batting 192. That's the same as his on base percentage. He does have a home run and 2 doubles, which is kind of crazy. So hopefully he's getting out of it, but he's just swinging and missing too much, right? So the 5 hits is nice. And the fact that 3 of them are for extra bases is cool, and he has 4 RBIs. But you struck out 9 times, and if you strike out 9 times, you're not going to be making enough contact. He's not walking at all, obviously, and that's just not a good sign right now for CES owners and lovers like yourself.
I am a CES owner in many leagues and lover. That one has hurt a little bit. My next cold, I went with a couple pitchers for this, but one of my colds also hurts me because I have him on a few teams, and that is Jose Leclerc. I knew drafting him, it might
I have him too in one of my leagues. Yep.
not pan out too well, and it has been worse than not too well. 2.2, 2 2/3 innings so far, and 6 walks, 5 earned runs. He's had 3 appearances, 1 strikeout. Just has been horrible. And, there was already a question about whether or not he was going to close games for Texas. It doesn't look like he's going to win the job at this rate. So he's one that, I'm maybe holding on, but I'm certainly not keeping him in my starting lineup for the foreseeable future. And if he continues, even like this for a couple more weeks, he's probably off most of my teams.
So the Cubs just retook the lead.
Did they? Oh, that's awesome. That place is probably nuts right now. Is it Seiya?
Suzuki, on a fielder's choice. Ian Happ and then
Good.
Mastroboni scored.
I can't believe I'm missing that game right now for
Yeah,
this, for you, Rami.
Jesus Christ. You could have told me to wait till after the game. I would have gladly watched the
No,
game.
I wouldn't
I
have.
would rather be sitting on the couch watching the game.
Suzuki was
Yeah.
almost another
Who
one
the
that I
hell
put
gives up 5
was
runs in
hot,
the 8th
but
inning to the
to the
Rockies? Jesus
Rockies,
Christ.
yeah.
I know. The Rockies have more wins than the Mets. My other cold, my last cold is a guy that you have on your team, I think. 4 and a third innings in his first start, and he gave up 7 runs and 3 strikeouts. That is my man, Aaron Nola. I've never been a big Aaron Nola guy. I always thought he was clearly the second to best pitcher on that team behind Zach Wheeler. He walks a lot of dudes. He's very volatile. He's, kind of he kind of can give up a lot of hits, a lot of home runs, just not a great whip guy generally. And so when he's off, he is off. And his first start was off.
Yeah, I wouldn't say. I mean, he walked one guy, so I don't think walks really killed him. And over his career, I don't think they've really been a problem. So I'm not worried about the walks, but I have been listening to some people who follow him. Really break down his pitching. And there are some people who are worried. They're raising some red flags. The worry scale is starting to tip. And I know he just signed a 7-year deal, but that doesn't always relate to performance, right? There's not always a correlation between the deal you sign, Anthony Rendon, and the performance that you put out. So,
Oh my God. I just tweeted out today. This is a crazy stat, crazy but true. Last time Anthony Rendon got a hit, Anthony Volpe was in high school. Isn't that crazy?
that's nuts. Yeah, that's
I
funny.
know.
So yeah, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little worried about Aaron Nola. 100%. Does that mean I'm going to drop him? No, probably not, unless he really has some bad starts. Maybe I'll put him on my bench for a while. But yeah, don't blame you. I'm a little worried. He goes up against Washington though in a couple days, so hopefully he can right
That should be
the
good.
ship a little bit there. And maybe we just expect some volatility from him moving forward. Maybe he has some really good starts and some really bad starts. So we'll see. But yeah, I think that's a good call out there.
Who's your last cold?
My last cold is someone who I was not in on in the offseason, but I know a lot of people were, and that is AJ Puck for the Miami Marlins. He is a reliever turned starter. And in his first 2 starts, he went 2 and 4 innings and has given up 6 earned runs total in those 6 innings, 9 walks to 6 strikeouts. Just hasn't been a good experiment so far for AJ Puck. I don't necessarily think his walk issues are back. He had some really bad walk issues before, and I think he walked about 5% of batters last year. So I don't think he's at 5, but we could see it start to trend back towards the pre 2023 AJ Puck levels, and that is just not going to cut it as a starter. I do have faith in the Marlins, right? They know how to develop pitching, so maybe they have something there, but yeah, Puck is definitely one that I'm worried about. And he's probably one that honestly I'm not holding, depending on my roster size and everything. If I need to churn spots, he's one that I am churning very, very quickly.